March 9th, 2015, Blind Vision United presents Dennis, the president of Blind Vision United, as a guest speaker for Monday night's motivational gathering.
Is our president, Mr. Dennis Sumlin of New York City. Welcome, Dennis, to the Blind Vision United Monday night.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And Mr. Dennis, you're a blind person out of New York City, and you've been visually impaired since when?
I was born visually impaired, so that would be about 37 years, but I've been totally blind for 26 years.
26 years, okay. So you're going to tell us a little bit about yourself and then what you're doing with your life now?
Well, like I said, I've been blind, born visually impaired, born with congenital glaucoma, and at the age of 11, I became blind on the other eye, the right eye, which was a detached retina. What I'm doing now is I am a life coach, I am a public speaker, and a teacher. Basically, the life coach, I specialize in what I call self-communication, basically being able to solve problems in your areas of relationship, sex, and personal achievement based on becoming more aware of who you are. And we do that, and I do that through different kinds of methods such as questions and answering and helping clients through particular issues when it comes to those categories I mentioned.
Okay, sounds interesting. So how did you become a certified life coach? What type of schooling or program that you had to go through?
So, yeah, if you want to become a life coach and get certified in it, there is a international body that's in charge of certifying most life coaches. It's called the International Coach Federation. They are the accrediting agency for schools around the world. There's other accrediting agencies, but that seems to be the most well-known in the coaching world. So I went to what they call an ICF-accredited institution to become a life coach. And I got lucky enough to where the school itself was in Canada, but they had I guess, for lack of a better term, a satellite location in New York, and they were able. So I was actually going to class. I had to take some of the course on the internet, and once I finished all that, I became a certified coach, and I can certainly get higher certifications as I accumulate hours in my practice.
Okay, sounds interesting. Now, you said you're also mentoring and teaching as well?
Well, the mentoring got nothing to do with the coaching thing, but it works in there nicely because I'll be working with teens in the future as well. I have been a mentor for teen boys for about 9 years. I've been with a few different agencies here in the city.
Okay. So you're like a big brother kind of thing.
Yeah, it's modeled on the Big Brother thing, yeah.
All right. And so as far as your involvement, as far as training and schooling as a blind person, did you go through some type of schooling over the years or specific, types of programs? Or did you work outside of your home, as over the last 30-something years?
Well, yes. Basically, when I was in high school, I got mobility training since I went blind as a young kid. They started immediately on mobility training. I was mainstreamed in public schools, and so I was around other students of my age who were sighted. Like I said, I got mobility training throughout, from elementary, through high school. And then later down the road, I did go to computer training for blind people. I had been around computers since I was 11 because of the mainstream school I went to. They had what's called a resource room where you go and get extra time to help you with your work and so forth so you can keep up in class. And then later down the line, I went to an actual computer training course, to be trained on the modern computer and so forth like that. And after that, actually, I began teaching. I actually taught computers to other blind adults with various different people, just taking advantage of some of the opportunities I've been presented with. So I have a teaching background as well. So, and all these things come together.
Okay, now I understand, too, you have a history with the National Federation of the Blind. You've been involved with the performing arts and other organizations within the NFB. Is that correct?
So yes, within the NFB, I've had several different positions. So I've had state positions. I've had that national position of president of the performing arts, and yes, I've been there too.
Okay, and just recently in 2014, you were the what is the word I'm looking for? Announcer for the talent show at the 2014 convention.
Well, I've been doing the talent show at the NFB conventions probably since 06, 07. I've been hosting it. So, yeah.
All right, and now you're part of Blind Vision United because I've made you my president, and and what do you see helping us with Blind Vision United in the future? What is your goals or insight on what you think we can do out here on the chat lines and on Facebook and in the internet and the social world and trying to help build Blind Vision United to a better organization? So,
being that I'm a life coach, I believe that people can be better than where they are currently, and this is why I went into life coaching, is to help people get past their own blockades, which really lies within inside of them, and get them moving. People who want to do things in life, people who have the fire in the belly to be more than where they are currently. And this Blind Vision United kind of is an extension of what I do in life anyway, telling people that they don't have to settle for where they are. They can do more than what they're doing. They're not as limited as maybe some of them have been led to believe. And so Blind Vision United would be an extension of that for people who are blind and maybe on the chat line system, maybe either through circumstances with their lives, whether it's their family holding them back or whether they're just not able to do certain things. This organization, or Blind Vision United, is there to encourage people and give them tools to do more than what they think they can do, and connect people who maybe are not connected, connect them more into the world and show them different opportunities and things of that nature. So it's just another way of reaching people.
I agree with you. Now, you've also had a history in the internet radio business, correct, as an announcer or such? You had shows on internet radio as well?
Yeah, so I've been pretty much a public speaker pretty much my whole life. I've been doing all these things like public speaking and things like that since I've been young. So, of course, as an adult, I'm going to formalize that. And so I've been on internet radio. I've had several shows throughout the last decade. So now that is part of my coaching business as I go around and speak to people about, the things that I do. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So did you go to school past high school? Did any college other than the getting certified as a life coach or online?
No, I actually dropped out of high school and got a GED later on. I did actually enroll into a community college and didn't really attend it. I didn't think college was for me. I think I only enrolled in college. I did that when I was younger. I think I only enrolled in college because that's what people said you're supposed to do, and I was still younger then. I didn't fully get out of the mindset of doing what other people thought I should do. So that's why I enrolled in college, and once I did all that, I discovered, well, I really don't want to be here, at least not at this time. This is not the road I want to take right now. So I dropped out of college and continued doing my own thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So you had other employment outside of home?
Well, I've been working since I was 16 years old. My first job was a receptionist for a senior center. But, yes, I've had jobs. Most of them revolved around teaching, coaching of some type, or, as we were talking before earlier, creative arts or, performing arts. So that's what most of it's surrounded by. That's what most of it had to do with.
Okay. All right, well, I think that we covered a lot of your, you have a motivational message you would like to leave or an ending message you'd like to leave for our public so they can motivate them to further themselves in life?
Well, really the only thing that's stopping people from doing anything they want to do is them. Now, we all have different levels of capabilities, but if we don't believe in ourselves, we'll never be able to find out what those limits truly are. We have to first believe that we can do something before we're able to do it. We first have to say to ourselves that we are tired of living the type of life that we are living, and we want to do something different. We want to be included. We want to be a mover and shaker in our own right. And the only way we're going to do that is start believing that we deserve it and start believing in ourselves that we can achieve it. And that has to start within, and that's why I'm a life coach, because I've gone through these kinds of things as far as believing other people's definitions and bouncing around depression until I decided that I learned that I deserve better than that and that I'm worth better than that. Until I decided that, I just kept dawdling along on that dead-end path until I changed my mentality. And it's not an easy thing to do, which is why there's books and coaches and therapists and stuff to help us do it. So it's really not an easy thing to do, but it is possible. And so I went into this area to help people with that and deliver that message.
Now, my question also, you live in the big city of New York City, so what is it like to be a blind person living in New York City? Was that an overwhelming experience when you were younger, or how is it to you now as an adult? Do you feel comfortable living in a big city and traveling around and using subways and buses and such by yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I grew up here, so it's not like I moved from, somewhere else here. I grew up in New York, so to me this is just the way it always has been. Despite what a lot of people might think, New York is actually very easy for a blind person. Some people may not think it is because it's big and there's a lot of things going on. There's lots of people and so forth, but it actually is very blind friendly as far as its infrastructure with the trains and the buses and just the grid thing that Manhattan is laid out in. It's very blind friendly. Now, the people, of course, are different. Sometimes I see that this goes by region for some reason. Some people treat you differently as a blind person in one place than they do the other place. Sometimes people in New York, despite what people think about New York, are actually very helpful, sometimes too helpful. But at least people in New York are helpful.
Right.
So we have this reputation of being rude and nasty and not caring about anybody, and that's not really true. So I can vouch for that, being a lifelong New Yorker and having some of those New York traits myself. So it's actually New Yorkers are not bad. They're pretty helpful, and I think the whole experience of living here is great for me. And I've been to other places, and I'm a city person. I got to be in a city. I've been to other places, other large cities, and I'd probably do fine there as far as the infrastructure of how the city is set up. But I'm a big city person. That's what I like. I like maximum accessibility, maximum mobility.
Now, as a blind person for 37 years, what do you think was your biggest things that you had to overcome, or that you felt like was really a struggle at one time that you felt really proud of, something you've overcome in these 37 years?
Well, in reference to blindness, I will tell you that the first thing that came to my mind was me teaching myself how to use the subways, because back in high school, like I said earlier, they give you mobility training and stuff like that. And my mobility teacher, for some reason, didn't think I was ready to take the trains yet. We had done some bus lessons or whatever, and she didn't think I was ready to move on to the trains. And I felt differently. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to move on to the trains. She didn't think so. So I pretty much just ignored her and started teaching myself how to use the trains. I had been on the trains before that with other people, and I just decided that I'm not going to allow somebody else to hold me back when I feel that I'm ready. So one day I just took that chance and started doing it. And, of course, it takes time to learn the system and adapting to it and when to move and when not to move and so forth. But I worked all that out over time because I just didn't feel like being held back. If I think I can do something, I'm just going to go out and do it, regardless of what other people think.
All right. Okay. Well, welcome. Here we have a visitor in here. Would you have any questions for Mr. Dennis? He is our president of the Blind Vision United. He's also a certified life coach out in New York, and he's sharing a little bit of his life and some of the things he's doing. Do you have any questions for him?
Oh, I just stepped in. I'm from LA. I've been blind, total blind for 2 years. I'm 34 now. It's amazing how he said he just did it on his own. That's kind of like how I took it. You know, there's nothing to fear that you can't see. You know what I mean? And it's awesome. I just chimed in right now, and it's cool. It's good to be right here hearing you guys.
So you live in a big city too, so that's an overwhelming place too, LA. So, okay. Well, Mr. Dennis, I appreciate you coming out and sharing your story with us and being a motivation to others out here and achieving what you've achieved in your life, and I'm sure you're going to continue to achieve more. And we appreciate you being a part of Blind Vision United as our president, and I look forward to working with you for a long time and look forward to seeing you in Florida and in Orlando. So thanks a lot for coming out, Dennis. We appreciate it. Do you have anything else you'd like to share before we close it out?
Well, if you want to find out more about life coach or anything like that, or if you think that you can use a life coach and you would like to know how and what that's all about, you can go to my website at lifethroughstrength.com, life, the word life, and then through strength.com. You can go there. You can also contact me email-wise at dennis@lifethroughstrength.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, and we appreciate that. And, of course, you can find him over on the Jungle in room number 0 if you'd like to speak with him personally. And that number is 712-432-5154, room 0. All right, well, we thank you, Dennis, for coming out, and appreciate you being here. And I'm going to turn this recorder off.